All right, let's just jump right in. What if I told you that right now you have the single most powerful tool to completely change how you deal with emotional pain? And no, it's not something you have to go out and buy or, spend years learning. It's something that's already inside you, just waiting to be found.
And the source material we're looking at is super clear on this. This tool, it's so simple, you could literally teach it to a child. It's all about tapping into a part of you that's always there, always on, just waiting for you to notice it. It's not about becoming something new, it's about remembering what you've been all along.
So, what is this tool? Well, here it is. It all comes down to this one idea: being the watcher. Sounds simple, right? But it's so profound. It's just the act of watching what's happening inside you, your thoughts, your feelings, without getting caught up in them. Like you're a silent observer. This one idea, it's the key to everything else we're going to talk about.
Okay, but that brings up a huge question, doesn't it? If it's so simple, why are so many of us just stuck? Why is it so hard to do? Well, it turns out there's this really powerful thing that gets in the way: inner resistance. It's like this unconscious trap that we fall into, and a lot of the time, we don't even know it's happening.
And this is really the heart of the issue. Over the years, we can get so attached to our pain, right? We build our whole identity around it. The source we're pulling from calls this the pain body. It's like we create this unhappy me out of all that suffering, and we start to believe that this made-up story is who we actually are.
So look at this comparison. It really lays it all out. On one side, you've got your true self. That's the watcher, the one who's just present. And on the other side, you've got this unhappy self, the pain body, which is really just a story your mind made up. The whole problem, the whole struggle, starts the second we mix those two up and think that story is us. So why do we hold on so tight to something that makes us unhappy? It sounds crazy, but it's all about fear. A deep, unconscious fear. We're scared of losing our identity, even a painful one. That unhappiness, it's familiar. It can almost feel safe. And a lot of us would rather stick with the pain we know than jump into the unknown, even if it means freedom.
And let me ask you this. Just be honest with yourself for a second. Have you ever noticed that weird little pleasure you can get from being unhappy? Or that compulsion to just tell your sad story again and again? That's it. That's the pain body trying to keep itself alive. And just seeing that, just recognizing that pattern in yourself, that's the first huge step.
All right, so we get the trap. We see how we can get all tangled up in our own pain. The big question is, how do we get out? How do we deal with this resistance? Well, the good news is the way out is actually way, way simpler than you'd probably guess.
And this is what's so cool about this whole approach. It's not about fighting. You're not supposed to wrestle with the resistance or try to push it away. It's way more elegant than that. You just notice it. You shine your awareness on it. See, the resistance gets all its power from being unconscious, from operating in the shadows. The second you bring it into the light, by being aware of it just starts to fade away.
So what does that actually look like? Here are the steps. First, you just observe the resistance inside you. Feel it. Then you start to notice how attached you are to your pain. You see that urge to talk about it, to think about it, to replay it. And the magic is, just by seeing these things, just by making them conscious, they lose their power over you. That's when you can finally step back and just be the witness to your pain. And that's when it starts to change. Okay, so everything we've covered, it really sounds like a solo mission, right? An inner journey you have to take by yourself. And, well, it is. You're the one who has to do the work. But, and this is a really interesting twist, you don't necessarily have to do it all alone. The right kind of person can actually speed the whole thing up. But let's be super clear on this point, because it's important. At the end of the day, only you can do this. Nobody else can go inside your head and do the watching for you. It has to be your awareness, your presence.
But you don't have to do it all on your own. If you can find the right kind of help, it can make a huge difference. Think of it like this. Your own little spark of awareness can get a whole lot brighter, a whole lot faster, if you put it next to a bigger fire. And I absolutely love this analogy from the source material. It's so perfect. Picture your own awareness like a log that's just kind of smoldering, just starting to burn. Now, what happens if you put that log right next to one that's already a roaring blaze?
your log starts burning way more intensely, right? And why is that? Because after all, it's the same fire. So, who is this fiercely burning log? Well, we're talking about someone who is intensely conscious. This could be a spiritual teacher, maybe a therapist who's really gone beyond just textbook thinking. The key is that they can hold that state of intense presence. And when they do that with you, their presence just naturally sparks your own. So, if there's one single thing to remember from all of this, let it be this. This is the big one. You are not your pain. You are the presence that is watching the pain. You're not the storm, you're the sky. You're not the thoughts, you're the awareness that sees the thoughts. That's the crucial shift. So I want to leave you with this question, something to really chew on. What if you really, truly lived from this place? How would your life change? What if the next time you're feeling that pain, you could just remember, wait a minute, I'm not this feeling. I'm the one who's watching it.